Right, you're watching Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA. And to begin our conversation on, empowering entrepreneurs, let's get this background up.
It is no longer a secret that entrepreneurs and small business owners have received recognition as drivers of economic growth in Nigeria. Structures and programs such as the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency (SMID), Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program (GEP), among others, were designed to promote entrepreneurial activities by facilitating access to funds and other resources aimed at enhancing sustainable economic development, with the mandate to stimulate, monitor, and coordinate the development of SMEs. To promote the development of Nigerian export industry, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council was established and saddled with the responsibility of coordinating and harmonizing export development to boost trade and SMEs. Another giant stride to encourage entrepreneurship development is the introduction of MSME Award to acknowledge innovation and resilience of entrepreneurs and create more opportunity for them to thrive. Available market for the products of these businesses is key for their sustainability. In recent times, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council has stepped up to this task, ensuring that local products are well processed and packaged to attract more value abroad. The council has also opened up exhibition centers in other countries to expose much of the locally produced goods to the outside world. Today, Nigeria is reported to boast of about 39,600,000 SMEs and is one of Africa's most prominent startup ecosystem according to the 2023 Global Startup Ecosystem Index, with notable emphasis on fintech. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, SMEs contribute 48% to Nigeria's GDP, accounting for 96% of businesses and 84% of employment. However, studies show that 50% of SMEs fail in their first year of operation, while 40% fail due to no market demand for their products or services. What is the future of entrepreneurship in Nigeria? Measures being taken to ensure a conducive environment for SMEs to thrive, and how to address current challenges will be some of the questions our guest on Good Morning Nigeria will find answers to.
All right, well, thank you, Gunda, for that background report. Guests are already here. We have right here with us in the studio, Onisi Lawani, Director, DG's Office and Monitoring and Evaluation, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, that's SMID. We'd like to thank you very much, Onisi, for joining us.
Thank you.
Also here with us is Collins Wosu. And Collins is a trade ambassador to the International Trade Facilitation Association. He's also guiding over 3,000 small businesses to restructure and position the businesses, of course, as competitive global brands. And we're glad to have him with us. Collins, good to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you, Claire. And we have also been joined on the program via Zoom by Kofu Rola Awera, founder and CEO, Dhaka Empire Limited, a winner of the National MSME of the Year Award. We'd like to welcome you to the Good Morning Nigeria.
All right. I'd like to start with, Collins, basically because of your efforts to facilitate trade. You should be able to give us, the current and updated picture of what's happening in terms of, businesses and entrepreneurship. Faith Institute, which is a monitoring, data monitoring institute, had sometime in 2022, gave us a very promising report about entrepreneurship and businesses thriving, of course, making progress. And also, Stanbic IBTC, had a report on 2024, the business scenario in 2024, and predicted, an increase in business activities in 2024, at least first quarter by April. which was not what was, between the last quarter of 2023 and now. I'm just wondering, does that resonate with you? Is that a picture? Is entrepreneurship thriving?
Entrepreneurship, I think there's a bit of a stalemate at this time. So you have people getting into business and quite a number of people leaving the business scene. So it's almost a stalemate. The question will be, those who are coming in, what are they coming in for? And what are they seeing? What outlook are they seeing that is encouraging them to come in? And those that are leaving, what is it that is making them to drop off the scene? So some of the small manufacturers that we're working with are having problems with replacing parts. Importing those parts are expensive, because if I bought something at $1,000, right now I can't replace them at the same, even if it's still $1,000, my Naira is no longer strong enough. If I bought it at 500, right now I'm going to have to buy it at 1,000 something. So that becomes a challenge. Maintenance becomes a challenge. So one thing is getting into business. The other thing is maintaining the business. So those who are falling out because of maintenance costs. And maintenance is not just equipment now. You're having to maintain stuff. You're having to maintain the infrastructure.
Do you have data to back up the stalemate?
I would work with we currently have about 200 MSMEs on a particular program that we're working with. We call it the study. And study is what study is doing is building capacity. Study, yes. So it's supposed to build capacity for export, right? Of the 200 of them, 150 of them are strictly into commodities. So they're from farm to table, which should be easy because you know that your inputs are, it's something that you get literally, we can say, from your backyard, right? But they are having challenges. And we started asking, okay, what kind of challenge, what is causing these challenges? We found two major things. One was energy poverty, right? So energy poverty from host communities was causing an interaction with the environment. People are now destroying the environment in the name of trying to survive. So people are cutting down trees, people are going into farms to even do harvests on your farm when you're not there. So that, and when
harvest for firewood.
Yeah, they harvest for firewood. And most of these people that we're working with are working economic trees. So they're doing neem, they're doing moringa, they're doing shea, and the trees are the primary source of the inputs that we're developing. So that is already in danger.
Compromised. Yeah.
That's already compromised. Now, those who are harvesting it because they have economic challenges, they have power challenges. So you need to deal with that. And that's affecting the system. So what's happening in the ecosystem is that it's not isolated. We have to start looking at business owners as Nigerians, and this Nigerian in totality, what challenges are they having? What challenges are they having? So the business space is no longer, you can't isolate business from life, so to say, as we used to have work-life balance. This is now looking at this person as the entirety of their lives, what is affecting them. So when someone is not able to afford power and has to cut the tree that generates your revenues, then you know that you're in trouble. You know that you're in trouble. So you have to deal with that. We were supported by the UNDP small grants program, the Global Environment Facility Small Grants Program, small grants project that is promoted by the UNDP. And what it helped us do was provide 200 households with small gas cylinders for starters and training. So, okay, look, don't burn trees, use the cylinders. And if you do that, we incorporated them into the production cycle, into the value chain. We said, okay, you know what? Be part of those who are protecting the trees and harvesting, so you earn from it. So converting that challenge into a benefit for them, right? In doing so, what we found is that we were able to, over a 12-month period, we're able to reduce tree felling because we also counted the trees. We invested a bit in mapping the area, counting the trees to see the number of trees they had. About 216,000 trees in a 1,600 hectare space. And over the rate of the felling of the trees was reduced. We saw about 95% tree felling within that space, which is significant if you ask me, for a place that relies or used to rely heavily on tree felling. So what that means is that the harvest for the economic trees is going to be sustained. It's not going to be reduced, and then we can now keep the people in business. So if today I come into a business space and I can get my primary source of my primary materials, Tomorrow I can't get it, becomes an issue. You need to deal with it. And that's from dealing with a whole person and no longer separating business from work. That's one of the major things.
I think we just put you on hold. You've just given us your opening perception about the nature of current business environment in Nigeria. According to you, you said there's a stalemate at the moment. I don't know, Victor, you want to take the conversation to
Kofu? Let me take it to Kofu Rola before we come back to the studio. So, Kofu Rola, let me congratulate you, even though I'm not quite certain of what year, but you are winner of the National MSME of the Year award, so I congratulate you. But what's your assessment of the business climate, particularly for entrepreneurs at the moment?
I didn't get your question well.
I'm asking, what's your assessment of the business climate at the moment in Nigeria, particularly for entrepreneurs?
Okay, so for entrepreneurs, I would say that we actually have quite a large range to actually do our business, but there's a major constraint, which is financing, which is capital. So let me give myself for example. So prior to this to the award I just won, so apparently I won the MSME of the year 2024. So that was 27th of June 2024, just a few days ago. So like I said, finances, a lot of people, they actually like, they have businesses, they are passionate about what they do, but there's this financial constraint. Some people say, yeah, there's for instance, we have some institutes that give grants and all of that, but there's still constraints. Some people still don't know about all of this. They still don't know that there are some places you can go to and you can get grants, you can get loans. Quite a number of people are scared about, getting loans. So for me, that's my take.
There is, current data that suggests that, yes, women, in businesses, especially, in entrepreneurship, is growing, but there's still a wide gap between, businesses that are, held by the men and those that are held, by women. I mean, in relation to those that are held by the women. But here you are. You won the MSME award for the year. So it means you had to overcome, so many challenges. Can you give us a picture of what you did? I mean, how you were able to weather the storm? How did you do it? How did you break that jinx?
Okay, so I've been in business since 2019, especially like I'm talking about the Empire Limited. We're going to be 5 years by August. And so for the MSME clinic, I've been on it for 4 years. This is my fourth attempt, meaning I was strategic about what I wanted. I knew where I wanted to be, and I knew my game, and I knew my target. For instance, my first attempt was in 2020. I didn't have NAFDAC. I already had my business name. So what I did was, I didn't enter in 2020. So in 2021, what I did was, I was more strategic. I started my NAFDAC. I started my SON. Then I got nominated. 2022, I had everything semi-done, but I was not nominated. But this year, I was strategic. I was determined. I had a book that I outlined what I wanted from it. So I knew what I could like. I already pictured the whole event, so I knew what I wanted. Like they asked for NAFDAC, I made sure I add it. SON, I made sure I add it. ITF, I made sure I add it. MEDAN, NEPC, all the certifications needed. I made sure that I was at my A game. I was not lagging behind in that aspect. And for my video, I made sure that everything that I needed to say, I needed to put into it, like my production, my locally source material. I made sure that everything was put into my video, and I made sure that everything I do is proudly Nigerian. So that's one of the advantages that I that my company, that Empire Limited, one of the advantages that we had.
Sorry, just a moment. I like the part where you talked about proudly Nigerian. I love it. I love it. And as you can see, I'm proudly Nigerian. But again,
I can see.
yes, again, I wanted to know because they say starting is probably the most, challenging aspect of becoming an entrepreneur, you know. So for you, how did you start? Did you crawl or you just started to, hit the winning goal?
So I'm a graduate of food science and technology. So I have my first degree in food science and technology, and I have quite a number of certifications to boost my field. So I didn't start from like this and just made it. No, I started gradually. I started from being certified, like having my degree in what I'm doing, which is food science and technology. Then I went ahead to you know going for conferences. I've I've gone for so many programs to boost my business. So from one business conference to one business conference that I've traveled. But I must say that in 2019, NEPC and UKH were the ones that gave me um that start. What I mean by that is I had to attend the conference in Abuja 2019, and I saw a lot of beautiful women doing businesses. And I've been doing business since 2013. Yes, I've been doing business. But that particular year, I was like, oh, a lot of women are doing businesses. And I'm just thinking of what I will use my business to do. So I just go back to my drawing board and just find out what I can do in my certificate. Then I saw a woman doing fashion. I asked her, did you study food science? She said no. So how do you know about food processing? She said she just knows. So I just took that word that she said, like I put that back of my mind, and I went back to my university, Bowen University. Then I went to start, like I started my own experimentation. I started my research to see, okay, what can I start? What can I start formulating? Then I started my business, which is the spices. So I started my formulation. I started giving out to people, okay, what do you think about this ginger powder? What do you think about this garlic powder? What do you think about this? So it went on and on like that for a while till when we needed to, scale. Then I had to go to the market to see what their review would be. So we took our JAP products to the market. Then we realized that quite a number of people love the product, but they cannot afford it. So we decided to say, okay, you know what, let us do smaller packaging materials, which is done in the sachet. So right now, we have our product also in jars and sachet ranging from 2 gram, 10 gram, 50 gram, and 150. So we are conscious of everybody that is nutritional, that is conscious of their nutrition and well-being. So that is basically what we do at Saka Empire Limited.
Kofo, but I'll stay with you just for one more question before we get here in the studio. I was going to ask you to compare. Can you make a comparison between when you started, you said 5 years ago, and now the business climate? That's one. And second, what do you make of the CBN's 30% interest rate at the moment?
Okay, so from when I started till now, I must say there's been serious growth. The growth is obvious, and the growth is even becoming more obvious thanks to MSME clinic. And I can't wait to leverage that opportunity soonest. And so for the 30% by CBN, I've not started benefiting from it. So hopefully I benefit from it so I can share with you what it's like. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Kofo. We'll return to you, and I'm really excited, by the strategies. And indeed, you were very strategic in what you wanted to do, and you knew what you want or what you wanted. We'll get back to you, but let's come back again to the studio. And we have Unisi Lawani, who is director at the DG's office, monetary and evaluation, that's SMID. I'm sure you listened to Kofu. It's not that the opportunities, from the data we have, it's not that the opportunities are not there. In fact, the opportunities are thriving. They are everywhere. But the main problem is accessing these opportunities. What is the role? What role is SMID playing in enhancing the opportunities for would-be entrepreneurs?
Thank you so much, and good morning once again. SMID is the agency of government established to midwife the growth and development of the micro, small, and medium enterprises in Nigeria. And like you rightly said in your intro, we have over 39 million SMEs and responsible for over 60 million employment in Nigeria, and also are contributing about close to 50% to the GDP. But when you look at the contribution to export, about 6.2% of total export, which is abysmally low. So we, as an agency of government established to develop the subsector, we put in place several programs, initiatives. And the first thing we had to deal with is to see how do we address this issue of people entering into entrepreneurship space. And we found out that some of the reasons why most SMEs, like you said, have failed within the first 2 years, we tried to break them into two groups. We found out that you have more of necessity entrepreneurs than opportunity entrepreneurs. Necessity entrepreneurs in the sense that you have people going into the MSME space because they, after graduating,
they have no job.
There's no job. After marriage, it's something, it's just out of necessity, not that I saw an opportunity that I was going to do, unlike
Kofo,
who saw an opportunity and she keyed into it. So now, how do we address that? We have issues of building capacity or causing a sort of mind shift, mindset orientation, talking to people using various social media channels and engaging in communities to talk about entrepreneurship. Like you said, there are huge opportunities in Nigeria, whether human capital or natural resources, they are everywhere. But we've been able, Nigerians have not been able to really tap into that opportunity because of the overall challenge within this space, macro issues, macroeconomic policy issues, even individual issues. So we are trying to, we have several programs that we put in place addressing those that are already in business and those that are about to go into business by talking to them, telling them about various opportunities that abound in the country and how to connect. Most especially when you have people once you ask them, what is your challenge? Most of them will tell you access to finance. Some few years back, we know that in trying to address that access to finance, that funding gap, the federal government initiated the UWIN program. But even in that UWIN program, we found out because we are deep in it, we found out that even after accessing funds, finance, saw people that were not, they misapplied the funds, and some of them failed, while some of them actually excelled. So we have different programs that maybe I will talk about later, that we are trying to see how we can bridge that gap to connecting MSMEs or potential MSMEs or existing MSMEs to opportunities that can actually make them start or grow their enterprise.
Are there, Kofo, It's one success story. And I hear there's another success story. Very soon would introduce him into our conversation. But are there very captivating entrepreneurial success stories today?
Yes, thank you so much. We, as an agency, we have several of them. And what we trying to do is to see how we can broadcast such successes, because such successes will actually encourage others to see, okay, if people can do it, and if some of these people I'm going to mention can do it, then we can all do it. One, we have to look for a way of changing the orientation. I think there's this apathy towards entrepreneurship, and we are beginning to understand, to see what are the reasons. You see people you see graduates now coming out, they don't want to take up jobs, they don't want to go into entrepreneurship. What are those challenges? So, in our own case, way back in 2010, let me drive us back a bit. We actually worked with the American government to identify 20 young Nigerians, very young Nigerians below 30, that we had to engage. We took them across to the US. They spent a month and they came back. As at now, we have some of them, out of those 20, we have almost like 7 of them that are doing extremely well.
In what specific areas?
One is into cybersecurity. He's in Lagos. He should be about the biggest cybersecurity expert, and his target is to be the most certified cybersecurity expert globally, and he's hitting that record. We also have Shola, one-stop celebration shop, who is into the fashion garment. Her outfit is in Lagos, and she's doing also very, very well. We have some of them that have worked in government, and they are doing 1 or 2 things in agri-business, and so many of them. We have people, even one of the winners in this recently concluded award, MSME award, was also one of those people that benefited from agency support.
Now, you've talked about introducing, linking MSMEs to opportunities if you find those that can benefit them. I'm just wondering, have you been able in your experience to identify sectors where MSMEs are likely to thrive better and sectors where they're prone to failure, so that you begin to make that difference? And if you have done that, why do you think that certain sectors, MSMEs don't thrive in certain sectors, or why do they thrive more in certain sectors than the others?
Okay, we have a GROW initiative in our agency. GROW just simply means guidance, resources. That is, we are helping SMEs with guidance, right guidance. Could be in form of capacity building, resources, in form of maybe access to market. We've worked with NEPC in several ways to see how can we expose them to resources, export resources, training resources. We also opportunity. Opportunity means we are exposing them to sources of finance, sources of market, and then workspace support. How do we ensure that we build the capacity of people that are working with them, or causing a link to hire people that can actually help them or share their vision? Because if you have an enterprise and you have people that don't understand your vision or share your vision, it will be very difficult for you to work together. So there are sectors. In the GROW initiative, we are looking at agri sector. Agri sector is a sector that is huge. Over 80% of MSMEs actually play around the agri-business space. Then we are also looking at tourism. Tourism is huge in Nigeria, but several issues are impinging on that. We can talk about security challenge. It's not allowing people to come into that. Then garment is also very, very huge. The diasporans alone if we can tap into the huge agua market or even the AFCTA opportunities.
Agua.
then
is it still there?
No, this was something that existed, but we could not we cannot tap fully into it. But we have AFCTA that is on now. Nigeria is a market, or is a market in Africa that every other sub-Saharan African countries are looking up to. So we need to take that lead and see how we can push our products across our boundaries, not just within. With over 200 million people, the population we are already a market. If you can supply, if you can feed this market, even without going to the West African corridor, I think it's big. So we have our garment, we have our tourism, we have even education, we have light manufacturing. Even though we understand that there are some circumstances that's not really encouraging or not suitable to make that sector thrive, to make some of all these sectors thrive. But on our own part, we are also working assiduously to see how we can address some of all those challenges. We have some initiatives, for instance, due as an outcome of the study conducted by the African Development Bank, we have about 23 IDCs. They did a study on all these IDCs and identified some sectors, some trade in each of the 23 IDCs. So on that basis, we have gone ahead to see how we can help MSMEs reduce the cost of operations, because we did a research with Faith Institute on competitiveness study of MSMEs, and the report was not too good. So what came out was the issue of energy, the issue of access to finance. So in our own thinking, we said, okay, let's see how we can provide what we call common facility centers, shared facility for MSMEs, where all they need to just do is to come in with their input, their raw materials, use the facility, get their products, and if possible, provide. Yeah, we have the facility here in Abuja, in our center in Abuja. We've already set up 8 of such centers where you just walk in, use the equipment, and you supply your product to your market. Okay,
Mr. Lawani, thank you. I want to bring in Mr. Collins also. From what Mr. Lawani, said, I get the impression that entrepreneurship, it's really not for everybody. I mean, he said, those who probably graduate and do not have job, a married woman, he made reference to maybe a married woman would just, you understand. But really, it is us that are giving entrepreneurship the big names. It's simply, if you have the skill to, convert a particular raw material probably to finish or to add value to any, product. And that is what people understand by being, entrepreneurial. And I'm wondering, as a facilitator, what are you reading about this trend, and what are you doing, to probably enable those youths, because a larger percentage of our unemployed youths, of the unemployed are youths who would wish to, take entrepreneurial business, go into entrepreneurial business. So how are you hoping, bridging this gap and helping those youths to achieve their dreams somehow?
One strategy, that's an excellent question. First off is that when we look at entrepreneurship and the records they have, this would be people who have been registered in the system. So you have some form of formal registration with CAC. So the number is actually higher, those who have not registered with
CAC.
Yes, Corporate Affairs Commission. And entrepreneurship in that sense now becomes who is solving a problem in exchange for value. So the lady who is selling akara, who has been doing it and has taken care of her children through university, is an entrepreneur. We have the people who are hawking things. They come out in season to sell maize. They are entrepreneurs. They're in that ecosystem. So we have quite a number of them. Some are incidental, as he rightly mentioned. Some actually intentionally go out to do this. And that's why two things happen in the entrepreneurial space. We're having people fail in terms of the products that they bring out. So 9 coincidentally, what we found is that 9 out of every 10 ideas are failing within the business. So 9 out of every 10 ideas within the business fail. So the people who recognize those failures and pick the winning product are the ones who we see that we work with most of the time. But there's a high failure rate. But it's not a bad thing. It's just that, as he mentioned rightly, there's a mindset. You need to see that not everything that you thought of is what the market would accept. Then we now have 5 out of every 10 businesses also going out. Because most of those people who fail are now the incidentals because they went out of necessity. They weren't really strategic. They weren't thinking, how do I sustain this? So the minute they hit a roadblock, they fail. Now, what have we done? We've said, look, there's a huge challenge in the market space, and there are many myriads of problems. You can't go about solving all. So what we've done is to partner with even them. We've had SMID come and facilitate some of our programs. We now found key business support organizations. And we said, okay, if you have a high number of members, like the Africa Women Business Network, which has over 70 associations, not even members, and each of those associations, it comes out to almost 4 million entrepreneurs within their network. They'll say, okay, if we support the associations, then it makes it easier for them to cascade. That's one strategy that we've devised. Instead of running around looking for entrepreneurs, let's look for the associations that are already supporting the entrepreneurs, and then we can now make headway. That's one. Secondly, as I said, we've also decided to look at some key issues that entrepreneurs are facing, especially those in the agri space, because they form a huge majority. So what we've done right now, we're currently working on a program with the Export Promotion Council. We're coming to SMID to deal with states from the national policy side. It's important to work with what the country is working with, so that Nigeria is not going in a certain direction and then we're going in a certain direction because we think it's okay. So there's the one state, one product scheme, where every state has identified commodities that they have comparative advantage in. And then there's an alternate. So what we have done now is to say we're currently at the mobilization stage. NEPC is helping us to mobilize MSMEs in that area within the states that are operating within those product lines. So what will happen? One, they're going to be trained. Sustainability. And sustainability is not just how do I keep my environment clean. Sustainability has to do with profit. A business that is not profitable, you cannot say is sustainable. You cannot sustain a business that is unless it is profitable. So we're going to take them through a sustainability program. That mind shift is important because if they don't see it, then they can't achieve it. Secondly, the market access activities. So if you have trained people to produce to a certain standard, they need to have access to where they're going to sell it, which is also a huge problem for a lot of entrepreneurs. So that gap is also something that we're working on. We've already designed it. So that's the phase, mobilize and train. Next is give them access to market. And exposing them to marketplaces, there are 2 ways we're doing it. One is a digital directory. So they can have online presence at no cost. So they put themselves up on our platform and at no cost. And we expose that platform to as many people in the world that, look, these people have been trained and you can have access to them. The second is actually taking from the group of those that are trained, because you would find some will bubble up. They trained 20 and 7 bubbled up. We're even looking at even a 10% margin. So those that bubble up would have further hand holding to actually take them to specific markets to help them, expose them one-on-one to
before they even get to this bubbling up period. What are the qualities? What do they need to do, to be able to get to this stage, to be able to succeed?
Clear vision.
The basic steps.
Clear vision. Getting into business because you're hungry is good. It's not a bad thing. It's a driver. In fact, I think every entrepreneur should remember that, look, if I don't run this thing well, I will go hungry. That should never be forgotten. But beyond that, a clear vision. What is the impact that this is going to have? How do I run this? And those are the kinds of structures that you're helping the small businesses to put in place. Because they cannot put in a big, you don't expect them to operate like the big businesses. They can operate like a small business. So that's the first step. And that's why we're taking them through training, capacity building. We can't have enough of it. They need it more and more. You heard the entrepreneur from Lagos who said the number of business conferences that she's attended. Because if you don't sharpen the saw, if you don't stay in the network, if you don't stay sharp, you will lose out on the trends, you will lose out on what's happening. You can even get discouraged. One of the things that encouraged her was she went and saw somebody who has not done food tech, who is actually doing well in a space that she studied at the university. So those kinds of things trigger you. So to bubble up means that one has to be ready. You must be ready to go the whole hog.
Let me just, before Victor takes his question,
Yes,
sorry, Victor. I know, certain people who started, laundry business, block molding business, logistics business, landscaping business, and they all died out. What could have been the challenge?
Let me start with landscaping business.
Yes.
My house, I have flowers, a garden around my house. I have had 4 different gardeners this year. This year. So when they come, they work, the next thing, they're not coming. Okay, why? What is the issue? Oh, because of the level of work they've done, somebody else calls them, they're doing that person's work, they abandon my own, before you know what. So they keep abandoning the clients, and before you know what's happening, maybe they encounter a problem somewhere and want to come back. I'm not taking them because I found a replacement. So one of the things is focus. Growing a business does not mean I need to have 100 customers. I may have 10 customers that I am servicing well, and that becomes the key. So I can say this for free. Any entrepreneur that is listening right now, if you want to increase the revenue that you're getting, you don't need to get 100 new customers. Go into the old customers you have. Find out how you've serviced them and what you need to do. And that automatically, if you do that very well, you would automatically, without doing anything else, I can assure you, increase your revenues by 10 to 20%. Today, that's something that you can apply. So most of them fail because of focus, lack of focus. Or is it in the laundry? So laundry space, so many things could happen. There's also, I have a laundryman that comes to iron clothes for me because most houses have decided to have their laundry machines, right? But ironing, because of power, is an issue. So even if you're going into the laundry space, I say get into ironing. But the man will show up today and not show up tomorrow. So what is his issue? We've asked those questions several times and we can't get an answer, right? But so there is a level of resilience that is required for you to be in business. If you were making 1,000 naira from me as a business person, and you go into the market and a tuber of yam that was 500 naira, a bottle of granola that was 500 is now 2,500 naira, and you cannot come back to me to increase the price of what you are doing immediately, it becomes a challenge. They start looking for alternatives. And in looking for those alternatives, they abandon what is probably helping to cushion them, because cash flow is important for any business. And if they do that consistently, they don't get the new thing. They lose out the old one and then it dies. So that's a clear reality with a lot of the small businesses. But contrast that with the person who's been selling bonds and masa, and you come out 5 years down the line, that woman is still there selling her okpa. 10 years down the line, she's still selling her okpa. Why? Because she has found the challenge that the people have and is dealing with the challenge. So if you start a business from the perspective of solving a problem, consistently solving that problem, you remain in business. But if you have the mindset of making money, while that is good, it doesn't keep you. People don't come to you just because they're good. They come to you because they have an issue. You can be a good doctor. If I don't have any health issues, I'm not going to come to you. But so long as I have a problem, then I can come to you. Then your being a good doctor makes sense. So that's the kind of mind shift that we try to take our entrepreneurs through. Nigeria has a lot of wonderful things that people need, but who needs it? So you don't go into the business space that people don't need. And that's why those studies, we work very closely with those competitive studies. We're doing one with, and we're looking at the one that ITC, Wacom, International Trade Center has done. So you take people from what is needed in the marketplace and prepare the marketplace to accept what you have. So those are some of the things. If you offer your service where it's not needed, what happens? I'm offering such a great service to people who don't need it. Then I'm going to run out of steam very soon.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Nwosu. Let me get back to Koforola. I don't know if you are into exports, Kufu. I hope I can call you that. Okay. I don't know if you can hear me. Koforola. All right. I understand that Olufumiloye Olufemi of LoveBart Innovation, an FIRS award winner, has just joined us on the program. It's a pleasure to welcome you. Can you hear me? All right. Now, I wanted to throw this question to Koforola, but since you are here now, you may as well take this. I don't know if you are into export. By the way, I'm not sure what you do yet. Maybe if you tell me what you do, I'll find out if it's something you can export. And if you are into it, you know, how lucrative is it? How encouraged are you? If you are not, I'm just hoping that you could help me get to the roots of why export is still at about 6%, as Mr. Lawani mentioned earlier. I'm not sure we can go on with this at the moment. I'm not sure we can go on with this. But I can take the same question back to Mr. Lawani. You said export is at 6%, and I'm wondering why? Why 6%? Are there obstacles that make it difficult for people to do exports, for entrepreneurs in Nigeria to do exports?
Yeah, thank you so much. Like I said, the contribution of MSMEs to the national export basket is just 6.2%. And there are several reasons. Before you can export, there are certifications, there are standards you must meet. You have regulators in this space. We've worked closely with the NEPC. We have an understanding with the Standard Organization of Nigeria and even NAFDAC, those regulators that play within the MSME space, to see how do we ensure that our MSME's products meet export standard. I'll give you an instance. We try to see how we can support those people that are in the shea butter enterprise some years back. And we had to take a tour to Kwara State. The whole of that Niger-Benue corridor is all share, natural growing share. But now, Nigerian share is about the best globally. But the process of getting it for export purpose is the process is crude.
Cumbersome.
Crude, and so a lot of drudgery is involved in it. So we went there and we met elderly women, very senior elderly women in that space. And when I saw how they were doing it, I just remembered when I was a small boy growing up, and how my grandma used to give me a share when I have cold and stuff like that. I felt like throwing up because of the process. Now, Ghanaians come to Nigeria and buy share, the processed form, and they take it to Ghana, add value to it, and it's exported and is branded Ghanaian shea butter. Now, understanding the need to help them achieve that standard that can be exported, the UNDP supported them with processing machines, and even powered by solar that some 7-8 years back. But they just abandoned it. What was the problem? They said, like he said, they said that the quality, the product that comes out of that machine, if they use it, is too smooth, unlike what the market needs. So they just abandoned it. And again, they did not have that understanding of how to effectively use the machine. At least you can adjust it and stuff to get the quality that you want. So the point I'm making now is understanding some of all these challenges, NAFDAC, SON, and some other regulators. We said, okay, on our own part, will help address this. So we have a facility where we bring in all those regulators to see how they can approve or certify some of all these products by MSMEs so that they can easily export. We've worked with NEPC, we started a relationship with them where we've been able to look for SMEs that are export ready. And we've taken them to Gambia, to some other West African countries. And after that, they've been able to identify their market partners in some of all these countries, and on their own, they're exporting to some of all these countries. So we have regulation issues with MSMEs to export their product. For instance, during the AGUA, Nigerian entrepreneur was supposed to export to the US. By the time they took the product out of this country, they had to, they just pull out a sample randomly and just pull out a sample. Every shed has the number of treadings on it, and by the time they check it, if it does not meet, they return the whole container back to Nigeria. So we have to work closely with SON, NAFDAC, to ensure that most of all these challenges that MSMEs face in exporting, and the cost of operations too, cost of funds too, is also very exorbitant. That makes them not competitive. You see them exporting products that other countries can,
I want to find, you make recommendations to government and government agencies, recommendations that border on policy, just to help, encourage and enhance the chances of MSMEs to do exports, for instance.
Yes, for your information, we have the National Council on MSMEs. That's the highest body, policy-making body in Nigeria, chaired by Mr. Vice President, where issues that concern MSMEs, all the regulators, all the players, NAFDAC, all the Ministry of Finance, SMID, NEPC, everybody is there. So these issues are discussed at that level. But there's this issue in Nigeria that everybody works in silos. In silos. So we are trying to see how we can play that role of a coordinator of what everybody is doing, so that we can improve the export opportunities for MSMEs in Nigeria.
Let me, just before we go over again to Tola, who is joining us all the way from US. That's the United States. Tola, we'll be with you in just a moment. I just like you, because I know that SMID, deals with helping to develop the small and medium scale enterprises. And I've been on this program for, a reasonable length of time. And each time we talk about, businesses and entrepreneurship, the issue of shea butter is always mentioned, and the quality, and we cannot export. And you just mentioned it, and I'm wondering, is it a rolling issue?
Can I say something?
Yes.
I'm proud to say that right now we have worked on that problem, because what we do is pilot schemes. So when we do publicize, we keep publicizing what we've succeeded in. We have now Nigeria's first organic certified share that can be taken to the US and the UK. That was done by PRI Global Ventures. We supported them and helped them to meet that standard. So what we found in that exercise is that it's important to understand what the markets are looking for. There are two kinds of standards. There's the statutory standards, which NAFDAC, SON, and all of those, the EU, everybody wants. And then there's the voluntary standard, which the person who is buying from you wants. So whether you meet the statutory standards or not is one thing, but the person who's going to buy will say, I want it to meet this criteria and this criteria and this criteria. So we need to start engaging more with the buyers and say, what are you looking for? And that's what we've been doing, and that's information that we're passing across with NEPC. That's why this particular program that we're building out, the support to nature-focused MSMEs, is going to address part of this from the findings. So you can call up if you want to export huge volumes of organic certified shea that can go to the EU, and yes, it's done.
But how do you discover these SMEs? Do you wait? Do you look out for the established ones, or do you go out in search of this? Because out there you have a whole number of people, especially women, coming up with there's kilishi, there's a kuli kuli, and they're coming up in wonderful packs. But gentlemen, we'll just keep this on hold. Take a short break. When we come back, I know Victor is itching to ask his questions. Please let's take a break. All right, welcome back. You're watching Good Morning Nigeria on the network service. Before we went on the break, I wanted to escalate our conversation. Victor.
Yeah, I wanted to head to US to be with Tola, who has just joined us. That's Tola Adekunle Johnson, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Job Creation and MSMEs, Office of the Vice President. Tola, welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what your reading is in the time you've been in office, what your reading is of the climate for MSMEs and what you're telling government to do in order to enhance the chances of MSMEs thriving. And I'm particularly interested in also improving the chances for export.
Thank you very much, and I want to thank those in the studio. First, let me congratulate once again two of our winners. I see two of our winners out there. Koforola won the MSME of the year. Congratulations to her. And Femi, who won a newly introduced category, tax compliant award of the year. Congratulations once again. Now to your direct questions. I'll say good morning to the gentleman in the studio. I see Smedan there, and I say gentleman now. He had said something I will come back to much later. To your direct question, I'm one of the few privileged ones that have been around for quite some time. I obviously haven't advised the last government and President Buhari, and now President Tinubu and the Vice President. My and someone that has come from the space of SME myself. I was a business owner, a very small business owner, and knowing all the challenges I faced before the opportunity to work with governments at the apex. My advice, my advocacy, my guide, my advice, my advocacy has never changed. It's always been to create an environment that will ensure that businesses and business owners can thrive seamlessly, as opposed to giving out tokens, or maybe sometimes once in a blue moon grants. I believe in creating an environment where a business owner who follows the rules and regulations just goes about his own business and gets the rights or deserving results that they expect. You don't need to know anyone. Just following the rules, paying your taxes, doing all the things you're supposed to do. And the government, be it federal, states, providing those enabling environments, for instance, ensuring that there are no multiple taxations, ensuring that the business environment is friendly. You have access to single-digit facility, which is very, very key. And for those that are manufacturing, pardon me? And for those that are manufacturing that want to export, that you have those in places like the NESPs, the Nexims of this world can hold you and get you to off-takers, basically. And that the likes of SMID in the house can ensure that whatever MOUs you sign with any off-taker across anywhere in the world is upheld. Those are the things that are very important, and those are the things that we'll continue to advocate for. Those are the things that we'll continue to see that they come to light. And I must say, to be honest, I must give kudos to Mr. President, for everything that is regarding the SME space, the MSME space, that the vice president has taken to him, or that the ministry has taken to him, or that SMID has taken to him, or any memo that was taken to Mr. President which regards SMEs, is always attended to very urgently. It's always attended to promptly, basically. So, and I'm in the know that there's a lot more to come even before the end of this year for the SMEs. So this is to augment whatever issues, whatever bottlenecks the SME spaces are facing. Specific with regards to exportation, I like the fact that the gentleman out there, I don't know, I did not quite catch the gentleman's, not SMID, the gentleman's association or union. It is, wherever that gentleman is representing, we would like to extend an invitation to them to come and join the National MSME clinics, because the National MSME clinics, would like to extend an invitation to come and be our partner, because he said some of the things that he said some things that are very pertinent. For instance, the issue of standards. It's not just exporting. Sometimes you must meet certain conditions, certain criteria in exportation. If you meet standard of organization of Nigerians' expectation, I hear that there is now a voluntary expectation. It means that you might have met some expectation to export, but like me buying the goods from outside Nigeria, I might look at it and still feel like those standards or whatever it is that you're exporting fall short of what I'm used to. So these are things that the MSMEs need to know, especially for those that are looking at exportation. It is very important that they know this, and I'm aware that during the last government, some funds was given for to support the export space, and I mean they know that something similar will be done with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, because there is strong there's this strong belief in the fact that we need to support Nigerian manufacturers, Nigerian SMEs that have the capacity to export.
Tola Adekunle Johnson, thank you. And the gentleman you're talking about is Collins Nwosu, and he's of International Trade Facilitation Association, ITFA, guiding over 3,000 small businesses to restructure and position them as global brands. But quickly also, time is fast, running away. What do, intending or potential entrepreneurs also need to know about government supports for them? And, in terms of financing, in terms of, innovation, technology adoption and all that. And policies as well.
Thank you very much. This question is very important, because our SMEs also need to know that they are set, just as you have expectations of government, there are basic expectations of an SME as well. You run a business for close to 3, 4, 5 years, and that business is not registered, yet you need government support. That is more likely not going to happen if you are not captured by SMID or CAC. It's more likely not going to happen that the government will support you if you do not have your right documentation with SON, for instance, standards, for instance, or even the SMID. More than likely, the government will not capture it. The government will not be seen, in most cases, to be supporting an unregistered business. So first things first, you must register your business. Then second of all, you must, agencies or regulators that you think are very important to your business, you must understand what their mandates are. Not a lot of SMEs know that a DFI like Bank of Industry actually can give a facility of 9%. And for instance, our own office of the Vice President, we got a partnership going with Access Bank, where we are not able to do 30% for interest, where we are not able to do single digits. We have a 50 billion naira facility with Access Bank, which is their own fund, but they are giving out that fund at 15% to SMEs. And if you want to collect up to 3 million, the collateral is so relaxed that You can easily just do your documentation, and within a few days or a week, you go in and access this fund. 3 million, as much as 3 million naira. But however, if you want to collect above that, then you need some form of collateral, basically. But this thing is at 15%. Our target is to get to single digits all across, but this is their own fund. So basically speaking, we would take that for now. And to add to this, if this facility is properly utilized, they have promised that they will increase the funds by another 50 billion. So we should have an additional 50 billion, hopefully by the end of this year, for the same fund at 15%. Basically, then on what Koforola said, she had said something about this was our fourth application for the MSME award. This was our fourth trial. You know, as a business owner, you must just keep playing your own parts and just keep hoping for the best. You just do your own thing. You see, you must be focused on your own business. Somebody in the studio had said something about being focused on the business. You must be focused on your own business. I mean, do your own little bit that you can do to sustain your business. And along the line might come something. I mean, we just introduced a house to be won for this year. And someone who has tried for the past 3-4 years, Kofo won the house, won the car, and got some cash prizes. So you never can tell, where you find yourself positively in dealing with government once you have all your documentation in place. And there are also agencies that can actually train you. For instance, when you understand that people like SMID, they organize some trainings, ITF organize some trainings, these are all free. We, from our own bit, with regards to spaces and access to where you work, we have initiated and have complete with in partnership with some of our private sector partners. We have built about 12 different hubs, shared hubs, where SMEs can come work for at least 8 hours. There's lights there. One of it is the one in Udu that that was donated to Smedan. They donated the facility. So that's Smedan donated the facility. We on our part reach out to our partners to equip the place. So it was a strategic partnership.
Tola, thank you very much. Because we don't have a lot of time, I just wanted to chip this in before we get to the end of the program. I'm just wondering, for starters, if 15% is not a bit of a handful for most entrepreneurs at this moment. And second, the biggest support in that I hear people talk about for businesses is power supply, which is the best that government can do for entrepreneurs. I'm not sure. Perhaps you can confirm to me if this is top on the agenda.
Let me start from the power that you mentioned. I know that the Minister of Power has assured on several occasions that they are working on trying to improve the power sector in the country all across board. That I know of. But what we've done in our own little space is that these facilities, these shared facilities, these co-space facilities that we're talking about, we ensure that they are guaranteed 8 hours of light. It is usually with solar, and when solar dies or goes off, there's generator. But we ensure that they are there for 8 hours a day, and there's absolute light for anyone that we have commissioned. Now, going to the issue of 15%. Now, you must understand that this is not our fund. It is not a federal government's fund. It is based on our strategic partnership and relationship with Access Bank that we told them that, listen, how are you going to support the government? How are you going to support the MSME space? So we went to them and I said to them that, listen, you have to do something as a bank. And this is their own fund. The current going rates for interest, the current going interest rates in the space is between 28% and 30%. 28 and 30%. So they actually agreed to give us at 15%. I want to believe for now, but that's what they are able to do for now. So they are able to discount. It's called a discounted interest rate. Discounted interest rate, basically. So they've made their funds available. They've made part of their funds available to our office, to the president's office, and the MSME Job Creation Office, and said, okay, we'll apportion this 50 billion for now. Let's see how it performs. If it performs very well, we increase to 100 billion. This is for now. We keep speaking to them. There's still room for them to go down, but it is not federal government's funds.
All right, Tola Adekunle Johnson, thank you. I wanted to ask you briefly, in less than 60 seconds, what are the expected outcome of the SME awards, and then what do you intend to do with those outcomes? How do you, in terms of sustenance, how are you going to drive the outcome?
Thank you. This was the 6th MSME Awards. We are in touch with some of the past winners. There's also an idea we're toying with for next year's award to see what the past winners are up to. I mean, if you won an award 4 or 5 years ago, what are you up to now? What's your business like? And to see what sort of support they will still need from us as a government. So we're working on a number of things. But for this year, for those that won this year, basically speaking, we are going to be taking them on media sensitization. There are a few international exhibitions that they'll be going for as well, that we'll be taking them for, basically. But we intend to ensure that this changes their businesses for life.
Okay, thank you very much, Tola. Let me now get to Olufumiloye. I understand that the connection to him is now clear, and we could take a few moments with you. Congratulations on your tax compliance award. I just wanted to find out what this means for businesses, for MSMEs, because some will say that tax compliance does not add to business. That's the argument that some will put up. But for you, who wears the shoe, who knows where it pinches and where you enjoy it, what does this mean for an MSME?
Thank you very much for having me. My name is Olafumiloye Olufemi. Just, you said Olufumiloye. Can you hear me, please?
Go ahead.
Okay, so what does this mean? It means a lot. It means that there's a charge for you to do more. You know, they say that when you encourage your kid, he does more. And that's basically what this means. Please allow me to thank the MSME Secretariat. We've been in business for a while, over 10 years. And, you know, when you do something positive and you keep at it, ups and downs, but you keep at it, and then you get encouraged, you know, it's very, very gratifying. And that's what MSME Award has done. And let me also state that, one of the things that really moved me, you know, out of 6,000 applications that we understand, MSME Secretariat chose 30 nominees. These 30 nominees, when we gathered in a room, I saw sheer patriotism. You know, these are people who have a drive, who have urge. You know, for a developed Nigeria, you can't have it wrong when you have such caliber of people in a room. And I really want to thank the Secretariat again for this encouragement. For us, you know, like I said, we've been in business for a while. You know, it just pays to do the right thing, you know. Just do the good thing, stay the course. Like he said, this is the first participation of FRS in this category. And we're very glad, you know, that, you know, we're the first winner of this tax compliance category. By the way, Lambert Innovations was nominated in 2 categories, you know, the only company that was nominated in 2 categories for manufacturing and tax compliance. So it just tells you what we have done, you know, over 11, 12 years. This is all we do. We give our best, you know, just give our best to the society, appreciating the worth of the MSME. I know you speaking about the importance of MSME. I'd like to take it a bit further in terms of nation development. As a personal testimony, Hello?
Well, Olafunmiloye, we just have about a minute or so to go. So I would appreciate if you could tell us why it is important for a small business to be compliant when it comes to tax.
Okay, it's like I said, it's rewarding, as you can see in the case of these MSME awards. You know, you pay your tax, you don't know, like Mr. Tola said, you don't know where the opportunity will come. As much as you are tempted to do the wrong thing, everybody has proven to us that it is to do the right thing. And you do the right thing is better for everybody. You know, you have the good structure. You know, imagine that you're talking to international partners. We have foreign partners, we have local partners. It's important to maintain a proper structure. A proper structure also demands that you have a good, you know, tax system. So it helps.
All right, Olafunmiloye Olufemi, Laughbat Innovation and winner of the FIRS Award for Tax Compliance. We would like to thank you very much, and we regret that much earlier we couldn't get through to you so that we could hear more from you, but we appreciate your time and your contribution to the program. Let me also thank here in the studio.
Kofora is up there.
Okay. Koforola Awera, founder and CEO of the Cash Empire Limited and winner of the National MSME of the Year Award. We thank you very much for your time on the program. Let's now get back here to the studio to thank Tola Adekunle Johnson, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Job Creation and MSME's Office of the Vice President. We thank you too for your time and thoughts. And here in the studio, let me thank Onesi Lawani, who is Director, DG's Office and Monetary and Evaluation, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMID. Thank you very much for your time on the program. Thank you for coming. And finally, Collins Nwosu, Trade Ambassador to the International Trade Facilitation Association, ITFA, who is also guiding over 3,000 small businesses to restructure and position their businesses as global brands. Thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for coming on Good Morning Nigeria.
I think we will have to look at this issue again, maybe a part 2 sometime, because there are quite a number of issues to talk about, really. Claire Adelabu Abdurrazak, I thank you for joining us. To join us same time again tomorrow. Bye-bye. All
right, and I am Victor as well. See you again tomorrow.
The Honorable Minister of Works, His Excellency Senator Nweze David Umahi, CON, cordially invites members of the public to the stakeholders' engagement on the Sokoto and Kebbi States 378-kilometer and Niger and Kwara State 313-kilometer segment of the 1,000-kilometer Sokoto Badagry Superhighway, as well as the Nasarawa, Kogi, Benue State and FCT 284-kilometer segment of the 477-kilometer Cross River Southeast North Central Apo Abuja Superhighway, scheduled as follows. For Sokoto and Kebbi State, Northwest Section, Wednesday 3rd of July 2024. Venue, State Banquet Hall, Benin Kebbi, Kebbi State. Time is 12 noon. For Niger and Kwara State, North Central Section, Thursday 4th of July 2024. Venue, State Banquet Hall, Ilorin, Kwara State. Time is 12 noon. For Nasarawa State, Kogi State, Benue State and FCT, North Central Section, Friday 5th of July 2024. Venue, Nasarawa State Exco Chambers. Invited guests include governors of concerned state, Senate and Federal House of Representative Committees on Works, Honorable Minister of Line Ministries, Emirs, Royal Fathers, professionals and technocrats, Nigerian Communication Commission and major telecommunication service providers, Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, Nigerian Society of Engineers, and other relevant stakeholders and media. We count on your cooperation in the renewed hope agenda of enhancing national connectivity and transportation flexibility for economic development. Please accept the esteemed regards of the Honorable Minister of Works, Announcer Yakubu Adam Kofamata, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Works.